Today I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can work on tuning, and this has helped me so much in the past, as well as different ways that you can practice bending in different positions, as well as a few different licks that will really exploit the different techniques of bending that you can get happening. So later on in the video, I'm going to go through a few examples that feature some different kinds of bends. I will have a whole bunch more available for my Patreon members. The link's in the description if you want to sign up. 7-day free trial at the moment. It's a great way to support the channel, and thanks so much for everyone subscribing to the Patreon page so far. So the first thing I'd work on is tuning. So let's choose a key. We'll play in the key of A minor today, and I'm going to give you a few different ways that you can work on really just playing these bends in tune. We're going to take 3 notes, start on the root note, go to the major second, and then the minor third. And what we're going to do is we're going to bend the middle note to reach the pitch of the third note. Check it out. So at first this might not be obvious when you're bending out of tune, but really try and use your ear to match the pitch of that third note. That's the idea. We have a reference pitch that we're bending to rather than just bending randomly. I'm not looking at any other devices in terms of tuning. I'm purely just using my ear here. So then you can work your way up the fretboard. Now what you notice is I'm using my middle finger to bend, which can be quite tricky. So what I would suggest doing is using all the different fingers that you want to bend with. So I just use my second finger. Let's try the third finger. So what I'm also working on is not putting any vibrato on it, because when we do put vibrato, it obviously changes the pitch. And this is also something that I used to do a lot just to get away with in case I wasn't in tune. And this brings me to my next point. So practice it, first of all, without vibrato. Then what you want to be doing is playing the note at pitch, waiting a little bit, and then applying the vibrato. To me, it just shows a little bit more intent with the vibrato, right? Let's just work on one more thing in this context, not releasing the bend. I see a lot of sort of beginner, sort of semi-intermediate players do this, and when it's intentional, it works really well, and we'll look at some licks later on that do have this happening. However, you'll hear me cut off the bend at the peak, right? Rather than releasing it. Check it out. To me, cutting that bend off at the peak is more stylistically appropriate, sort of like a blues rock kind of thing, unless the melody or lick sort of calls for releasing it, which we'll check out later. But do try and work on cutting that bend off. That's something that I see a lot of people struggle with. So after you go through working on your tuning of the E string bends, I would then go to the B string. One thing that's really important that doesn't get talked a lot about is string muting whilst bending. Just look at my left hand when I bend. I've always got sort of like, if you play cricket, a wicketkeeper or a goalie or whatever you want to call it in whatever sort of respective sport you follow. I've always got some finger behind the bend, protecting the string that's ringing out from any other offenders. Check it out. So here I'm bending with my third finger, and I've got my other fingers helping out, but I've also got my thumb at the top and my first finger really safeguarding the other strings from ringing out. So let's incorporate these bends in some licks. Let's get a little bit more practical with it. Now we're going to do one bend where we cut the note off at the top, and we're going to do another bend where we actually release it. I just want to give you another example of a time that I would actually release the bend rather than cut it off. Check it out. It's real simple. So I'm bending from the perfect fourth to the fifth, trying to hit it in tune, and then I'm bending from the minor third to the perfect fourth. And then I'm releasing it, and then hitting the root note. Now I'm going to show you another moment where I might release the bend without cutting it off. That's when I do a pull off to the next note. Check it out. Right? And then we could do that bend that we did before. Cut it off, hit the minor third, and then hit the root note. Just different ideas, right? Different phrasing, different articulation. It's really important to go through. Right? So there's so much good stuff to get out of that. Let's check out another lick with another type of bend. Check this out. So we're going to be bending from the flat 7 to the root note on the E string from the 15th fret. Then we're going to release it and then pull off to the 5th. Hit the perfect 4th, which is 15th fret of the B string, and cut it off at the top. Right? Then we're going to hit the minor 3rd, let it ring out for a little bit, and give it a little kick at the end. And then hit the root note. So just there, we've got 3 types of bends. The first one, we're bending and then releasing. The second one, we're cutting it off. And then the last one, we're just giving a little bit of attitude and cutting it off. It's really, really cool. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.